Jump up, jump back, and here she comes. My name is Precious.
That's the one and only Rickey Smiley who came. My brother came back. He came back for the show.
We love Rickey.
Rickey Smiley is here, man. Yes. I don't know how you do this. You have your own morning show, and somehow you always manage to appear on ours. How does that happen?
Always, man.
How does that happen?
And you know you welcome. You always up here. You come to Atlanta. You always welcome to my show. I just want to. You come on.
I'm eating breakfast on your show.
Come on.
Can I just hang out and just eat?
Anything you want, man.
All right, I get to meet the whole crew.
Y'all always welcome.
Man.
Thank
you.
you.
Plus, I'll cook for you, all that kind of stuff.
Man.
Take y'all to the lake. That's what we're gonna do. Take y'all to the lake.
Ooh.
Wow,
that's
man.
fun.
Can we fish?
Yeah, when the woman. Yeah. I have everything. I have the fishing equipment, everything. That's my thing. I take my guests to the lake.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm a nature bitch too.
We need to
Listen
plan
to
this out.
Some classic rock and some Stevie Wonder, some Marvin
classic
Gaye.
rock.
When you say like Bon Jovi classic, Fleetwood Mac,
the Eagles.
Oh yeah. The Eagles just played at the Apollo.
I
recently.
like that.
Yeah. Rickey Smiley is here. The book is Stand by Your Truth and Then Run for Your Life.
You have to.
It's his new book. It's your first book?
It is my first book. I am so excited. It's in Barnes & Noble and Walmart all over the country. Books A Million. I'm really excited. I'm on my. This is the beginning of my book tour.
Certain things stood out, man. I didn't know about your. Can you talk about like your beginnings, like your father?
Oh yeah. My father was murdered here. My father left Alabama, came to New York, and was in those streets. You know, and wasn't really listening to the directions of my grandparents. And I think the worst thing about my father's death was worse than the death itself was being 7 years old, looking down that front row, watching my grandparents grieve like that. And that tear me up to this day, and that was 1974. And I'm talking about, I think about my grandparents sitting down there going through that, man, that tear me, that goes to my soul.
Yeah.
So that's why I try to instill certain things, into my kids, or whatever, because it's tough,
And it's interesting, even with your son Brandon.
Yeah,
Brandon, you in the book talk about initially Brandon not being your son.
Right.
His mother said he wasn't yours.
Said he wasn't mine for the first 6 years, and we were still cool. So I would go over there, and she was like, "Okay, he can go." He was like, "I want to go." I'm like, "Yeah, you can go." So I used to hang out with this little kid, didn't know that I was hanging out with my son.
Wow.
And then one day my uncle saw him in the grocery store. Like, hey man, my uncle sat me down and said, "Hey, he looked just like you when you was his age." And I didn't know that back then that you could take a woman to court for paternity. I know a woman could take a man to court, but I didn't know that a man could say, "Hey, I think that's my child," and a judge would order a DNA test. So I did it, and and he came back 99.9, and it was crazy. We went through a lot of stuff, and eventually I got I started out with visitation, and then I got custody. And so it was, that was.
But what? Because she told you it was somebody named Michael's baby,
right?
Right, and
poor Michael.
Yeah.
And was he acting as the father during that session? Damn.
And actually, and it's crazy because he's actually a really, really nice guy. And they eventually went ahead and got married, and to this day they have a daughter together that actually works on my morning show.
Oh,
wow.
Okay. So yes,
man, that book explains some crazy stuff that came around in full circle, and that wasn't even the crazy stuff. The chapter when I was almost killed. I'm a gunshot victim. I was shot in the side with a sawed-off 12 gauge. Like, who shoot Rickey Smiley?
But tell a story. Tell what happened.
Yeah.
He laughing now.
Like, who shot Lil Darryl?
Make you funny, nigga.
Right. Oh, what the hell? I'm having a flashback.
PTSD.
Yeah. So it was no cell phones, So so I got shot the same, when they found Nicole Brown Simpson.
Yeah.
And when they found Ron Goldman, I got shot that night.
Oh my gosh.
Shit. Yeah, I got shot. I remember seeing it on the news, and then later on that day, I went by a friend's house, so I made a little show. I had a 300 ZX with the T-tops.
I remember that.
With
Yeah,
the cassette tape in
280?
there. Yeah.
Oh, no, yours a 300. Okay.
Yeah. I thought I was doing something, listening to Anita Baker Rapture. I had my cassette tape in there because, it's everybody. That and the Al B. Sure cassette tape. That was everybody's cassette tape.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
So I'm making so I saw my homeboy at the payphone because there was no cell phones, so I'm checking. I'm pulling over to speak to my
Right.
my homeboy, because I was gonna tell him to come down to my little comedy spot because Flex and Maceo was coming.
Maceo from James Brown?
No. Flex, the Uptown Comedy Club. Remember Uptown Comedy Club?
Flex.
Flex, Maceo.
Okay.
They had a TV
Shit,
show.
I thought it was the
Right.
other Flex. I said, whoa.
No,
You got to break down Ricky. You got to break it down, man. We just
Right.
gave you two different. I was gonna go De La Soul, Maceo.
Right,
No.
Talking about one-on-one.
right, because they had the TV show. They had the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flex and Maceo, good friends of mine. So they were coming down, I was telling my homeboy, and some guys came around the corner, and the one in the middle had a sawed-off 12 gauge. He's pointed at the homie. He was like, "Get up, nigga."
Oh.
And he was like, "I don't have nothing." So he pointed the gun at me. He shot. I know. He shot
Yeah,
me.
DB.
He shot me to let that nigga know he was serious.
Oh my
He
God!
asked me for nothing. You know what I'm saying? He asked me.
It just what did you when
I don't care if you laugh because it is funny.
But,
It is funny.
Ricky, when he pointed it to you, what did you feel?
I didn't think he was gonna shoot. I would have gave it whatever I had.
Yeah.
So he shot me in the side, man, and I grabbed my side, and I almost died getting hit by a car because I ran across a busy intersection.
Oh my God.
So I ran down the alley. It was like that damn scene from Boys in the Hood. You can hear your heart beating, and only thing you want to do.
And his name is Ricky.
Right. Only thing you want to do is talk to your mother, and I'm thinking like, how the hell my grandparents gonna feel, considering the fact that they raised me, and after they already buried my father, so they raised me. When their son died, and I was raised, I'm like, this is gonna kill my grandmother. She's not gonna be able to go through that again.
Yeah.
So I was more worried about that. And worried about how my mother was gonna feel than dying itself. That bothered me more than dying. How it's gonna make them feel.
That's real.
So but I was running to live, but I was preparing to die because I was reciting the Lord's Prayer in the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want. He's making me to lie down. Because bruh, you hear your heart beat. So I went in. I beat on this lady's door. It helped me. Nobody came to the door, so I walked out through her front yard through the gate and collapsed in the street, and I couldn't run no more.
Wow.
And I just let out one more scream. I said, "Somebody please help me." And it just so happened 3 dudes were sitting on the porch over there across the street, 2 houses down, was drinking some beer. And one of them happened to be a nurse.
Oh,
Wow.
Man, God is good.
God is great.
Wow.
Oh,
God is good.
gosh, man.
So
Yeah.
where was your friend if he didn't get shot?
Crazy about it, he had just had a motorcycle accident, so he had a cast on. So when I crossed the street, I heard one more gunshot. So I knew right then he was dead.
Oh my.
Whoa.
I knew right then he was dead. But they shot up in the air, come to find out. So when I'm laying on the ground before the police came, his ass on that crutch, on that one leg standing over me like Ricky. And he says that I was laying on the ground talking about, tell my mother I love her, tell my wife I love her. He was saying I was being over dramatic, which I was. That's his
You
ongoing.
got shot by a 12 gauge. It's
fuck?
okay, man.
Yeah, that's his little ongoing joke.
Yeah,
we
man.
we laugh about it all the time.
Got
You took
it.
his bullet and he's still making fun of your ass.
Right.
Is that still your friend?
Yeah, we
Oh,
cool.
man.
Yeah, we cool.
Well, you know
We cool. That's Johnny. He lives in Richmond. He lives in Richmond,
Hey.
Virginia. That's Johnny Sprague. I talk about Johnny in the book. It's funny.
Well, Johnny, Johnny ain't gonna take a bullet for you. At least you know where he stands.
Right, but they could have killed him because he was standing there with his hands up.
Yeah.
And so when they got whatever they got from him, they say now go. They say get or whatever. He started running with his crutch and they shot up in the air.
Oh, the kitty. Okay.
Right, but they didn't shoot him. So
shit.
And then,
And then
dude, when I went, they caught the dude. So we got. I'm not gonna tell you everything because you got to buy the book.
The book is
Bruh,
called Stand
Sway.
by Your Truth and Then Run for Your Life.
Sway.
Yes.
Literally.
Sway. So the dude got attempted murder charges, right? Like different, like 4 or 5 counts or whatever. How about I ended up coincidentally not watching where I was going on the same elevator with the dude that shot me going up to the courtroom.
What
Oh
is
my
going
God!
on?
Did y'all talk?
And it gets it. No. I put my back to the elevator, and he never would make eye contact. I kept my eyes on him at all times. He never would make eye contact. But y'all mind is gonna be blown when you read what happened after that.
Damn.
If you think all of that was crazy, it gets crazier. It gets twice as crazier than everything that I just explained to you.
I got the book. I read it, man. It is
serious.
it's some other stuff we want to ask you about too. Man.
Yeah. I just wanted to share that because
wow, that fuck you, man. You here for a reason, Ricky?
yeah,
Steve Harvey.
yeah.
What role has he played in your career?
Man, when I met Steve Harvey, he was 29 years old. I was about 18. I was just starting out my comedy career. I was open. I got picked to open for him. Showed up with my Nike jogging suit on. He's like, "Hey, yo, he's like, you on the show with Steve Harvey. See, you can't wear a jogging suit. People pay money to see us. You need to go. You know how Steve, you need to go and dress nice tomorrow because it was the first show Saturday. We had 3 shows. It was at the Comedy Club in Birmingham, Alabama. So he said, you can go ahead and introduce me, but just make sure tomorrow you dress nice because people paid money. Man, when I introduced Steve Harvey, I ran out of that comedy club, jumped in my damn car, and went to my apartment and put on a suit right then and made it back to that comedy club in time just to say, ladies and gentlemen, keep it going for Steve Harvey. Good night. When I walked back on stage with that suit on, he said, you serious? He said, I'm going to help you. I would not have my radio show had it not been for Steve. I would not have done Showtime at the Apollo.
Yes.
If it wasn't for Steve, I opened up for the Kings of Comedy. And when you open for the Kings of Comedy, you don't get your own limo. You don't get your own dressing room. So I had to share cars. I had to share dressing rooms with Steve. And we Qs. We all frat brothers anyway. But I stayed in my spot because, Steve, he don't have a whole lot to say. He have his, you have to know when to talk to Steve and when to end the conversation and when to be quiet and not take any of it.
He put out
personal.
that email. To all the staff.
Yeah. When you're working with people, man, you have to read their energy and know when to sit down and be quiet and stay out of the way and speak when spoken to. That's common sense and common courtesy.
Gosh, that's so much game right there. Can you repeat that?
Bro, I can talk to you. I can talk to you all day. You have to know when to leave, when to walk, when to say good night. You know what I'm saying? I got invited over to Eddie Murphy's house. I was the first to leave and say, hey, man, thank you for your hospitality. Somebody else in the house was like, hey, man, why don't you talk to Eddie Murphy about that idea? I'm like, no, he invited me to have dinner. And that's it. If he don't ever put me in a movie or anything, God is good. And he invited me to eat, and I appreciate the fact of just meeting him and being invited to his home. What the hell I'm going to sit up in there and try to make a pitch for it? That's crazy.
Was he funny at the table?
Nah, man, he would just kicking it like it was kicking and talking like we talk because he want to know like, hey man, what goes on in Alabama? So I'm telling him all of these stories about my dad brothers and my uncles, and he laughing and crying and stuff because living out there doing what he do, he just pretty much in a bubble. So I'm telling him these crazy stories that just has like he was just so intrigued with the stories and the stuff. That I was sharing with him, funny stuff and crazy stories, things that happen in the comedy club, things that happen on the road. And we just had a really good friendship, and he was very nice. So I talk about that, and it's a lot of stuff in that book, man. That book is heavy.
You talk about your philosophy on sparing the rod when it comes to kids.
Man, you better beat the hell. You better knock their ass out.
Oh boy.
Talk about whipping kids in this.
Knock their ass out.
What's
Talk about, but for the same reason. So with Ty, we've been talking about Tyrese.
Exactly.
Well, you have to know how to knock them out.
There you go. Talk about the fine print.
Yeah. Now,
There's a tactic in the shit.
Now, my daughter was 3 years old. I have taken a belt and popped her on the ass 2 or 3 times. And my daughter, she's a student at Tennessee State. She only got 1 spanking. But my youngest daughter, the one that lives in Bogota, Colombia, her little attitude like, I want my mommy. She one of those ones that'll make you grab her. My daughter that's older than her, she like, I don't want none of that. So once I popped her on the ass when she was 2 years old, I have not had to put her on any kind of punishment. I think I took her phone once. That's the good child, But the 2 youngest when they get their ass beat all the time. But here's the thing, because I raised nieces and nephews too. Either you beat their ass and you have some discipline and instruction, or you going to their funeral. Now, which one you want to do? Now, do you want to sit up there on a Saturday with your kid in that casket or whatever? Because, see, the thing about it is, Sway, you're not their friend.
Yeah.
And parenting is not a popularity contest.
Nah.
It's been weeks, my kids in my house not talking to me or speaking to me or whatever. Fine, I make my boys sleep in the garage. When they do crazy stuff, I got a little cart that I got from Walmart, in the hunting department. I put that damn cart out, put it right in front of that 1996 sedan DeVille Cadillac, and let him lay his ass on that cart because the garage is 2 doors, one going out and one to work your way back in. Or whatever. So what do you want to do? They're not entitled to anything. They don't write no jokes. They don't get up and do radio. You do what I tell you to do, and I don't owe you no explanation. It is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? So too many parents is trying to become friends.
Yeah.
With their child, make them comfortable enough to have a conversation about relationships and sex when they get older. But at the same time, if I see my son in a club, then I'm gonna leave. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna party with my son. My kids are not allowed to drink. My adult kids, they can't drink in front of me because I don't drink in front of my grandfather. I'm gonna have a wine in my own, my own house. I'm gonna go in a room and slip me a drink, a little glass of wine, and then come out and chill. But I'm not gonna drink with my grandfather. That's just where I draw the line.
All right. Just staying on the topic of your family, your son Malik got in some hot water a while ago about the comment he made. He said he wasn't attracted to black women. And then a lady jumped on you about a joke you made regarding dark-skinned black women. And I feel like we got to the point that it's just like people, you can't say shit.
Remember we was talking about that yesterday, Alan? We were talking about that. You can't say nothing. That's an old-ass joke. Yeah. Everybody heard that joke in a comedy club before. Your mama so black when she walk in the kitchen, skillet start giggling.
You used to do stuff like that on Comic View all the time. I mean, like,
y'all ever heard that joke? Y'all generation ain't heard. You haven't heard that? Everybody in here laughing. I thought y'all heard.
I never heard that.
That's an old ass.
That's black as hell too.
That's a joke.
Skillet start giggling.
That's a joke. George Wallace said about my mama, and then I told him his mama so ugly that she could stop bird shit in midair.
Yo.
Wow, Rickey Smiley.
Black people mean.
Everybody have a platform.
Okay, we had slavery.
So if somebody get mad at Sway about something he said on the radio, then they have a platform for him, and they can go and do a blog, and everybody start jumping in on you. Nobody asked, well, what did Sway say? Well, what was the conversation? What context it was in? And then all of a sudden you get demonized for a damn joke. And at the end of the day, whoever that chick was, she don't pay no damn bills in my house. Okay? She probably ain't ever came to a comedy show because a real Rickey Smiley fan knows my heart. They knows that the Rickey Smiley Foundation raised thousands and thousands of dollars and do nothing but help people. They know that Rickey Smiley go to the Salvation Army on his birthday and serve the homeless every birthday. It's not about me, it's about serving. So she ain't no real fan. And in defense of my 15-year-old son, he 15. Most of the girls that go to his school is white. So most of the time when you growing up or whatever, you be attracted to what you around.
Talk about that bunny meat, Sway.
He ain't seen nothing thick yet. Wait till he go to an HBCU. Oh, that's going to change.
It's going to change his whole game up. Rockets World. Real quick, Rush Parr, Tom Joyner, Steve Harvey, yourself, George Wallace, legendary morning show host that I've always admired, looked up to as well. Tom Joyner stopping his show.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have a plan to stop?
I actually enjoy doing mornings because I'm a morning person. I wake up at 4 o'clock every morning, even before radio. I was always an early bird because I was raised around grandparents and great-grandparents. And I'm in bed at 8:30. If given the opportunity, I try to do the best job I can. I try to help as many people as I can. I could have been famous and out in LA doing movies or whatever, but I need a balance. I need to be able to reach people and help people and serve the community and serve God. My comedy career has turned into a ministry. So I do stand up on the weekends or whatever, but if they have me, I just signed another 5-year contract.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Man, pack your bags. We going to Atlanta, y'all.
Come on, Sway.
Let's go.
Sway.
Come on.
Sway, we can do this.
We can't do it.
We can do this,
We
Sway.
can't do I ain't getting no 5 years. But go ahead, Ricky. Go ahead.
Wow.
I'm just thankful for the opportunity, and just try to do the best job I can every morning. Every morning I wake up, I sit on the side of my bed, and I said, thank you, God, for allowing me to see another day. I start my show out. We play hip-hop music. We play everything. But my first record is gospel. My last record is gospel. We honor God, and we give a balance between, hip-hop and helping people grow in ministry and positive things and stuff with the foundation. So, the Bible says, and I'm not no minister, if you be faithful over just a few things, I will make you ruler over many.
Exactly.
And God give you an opportunity and have given all of us a platform as a test just to see what we going to do with it. Is it going to be about you or who you going to help? Who you going to bless with your platform? Who you going to encourage? People listen to you. I listen to you. Somebody you say, you don't even understand how many lives that you save, Sway. People just laughing, having a good time, and getting people out of whatever they're in. Because we've had people on the brink of suicide, had to send a car to go get them.
Yeah.
Lady about to kill herself because, had to send her to a domestic violence shelter. This is a ministry. So we have to take time and be responsible, even through our trash talking and talking crazy or whatever, stuff that we do. We have to minister. We have to help people. And God honors that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to get too deep.
No, man. Thank you, Ricky. Man, I love you, man. I love you, brother.
Bro, I love you
I want to
too,
tell
man.
you that, man. Live
I
on
love
this
you
mic.
too.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate you.
Proud of you.
I love y'all.
Inspired by you. Stand by your truth and then run for your life by
Hey.
Rickey Smiley. There you go. We want to thank Smino for coming by today
Yeah.
as well.
Yes.
We got a good show for you tomorrow.
I'm dinging.
We got on tomorrow, Q? Go ahead.
Well, tomorrow we got Memphis Bleak and Casanova. They're going to be stopping
love
by.
Memphis
Okay,
Bleak.
great, cool. All right. Boom, boom, boom. And so we got Lord Sear up next. Ricky, thank you, man.
Man, thank you, man.
Appreciate
God bless
man.
y'all.
Man, can I see your
You
bullet
too.
wounds?
Yeah.
Okay, he gonna show us the bullet wounds, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, damn. So they got you right there. That's
Sawed off 12 gauge.
yeah, man. They buckshots. All right, and until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we have nothing left to say.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.